The spaceport of Orcs was alive with sound and color. Ships of all sizes glided through the sky, leaving streaks of light behind them. Merchants shouted their wares. Children ran between the stalls, and travelers from many worlds hurried to catch their ships. Among this busy scene, a strange figure moved slowly, almost as if she did not belong. The alien woman, Vera, walked with careful steps. Her skin shimmered green in the sunlight, and faint patterns moved like liquid across her arms. Her eyes were large, glowing faintly like twin moons, and they reflected a mix of hope and fear. She looked thin and tired. The clothes she wore were simple and ragged, as if they had been patched many times. Her hunger was obvious. She had not eaten for days, and the aches in her body spoke of a long journey. People noticed her immediately. Some stared openly, whispering and laughing. Others stepped aside, pretending they did not see her. A group of children pointed at her, their voices shrill with mockery. "Look at her. She looks like a shadow from the stars," one shouted. Merchants waved her away from their stalls, fearing trouble. Even the security droids scanned her suspiciously, their sensors lighting up as if she might be dangerous. Vera tried to ignore them. She had faced prejudice before. Her people had traveled across the stars for generations, seeking a home after their world had begun to die. She was used to rejection, but each whisper still cut deep. Her stomach growled loudly, reminding her of her hunger. She paused near a market stall, glancing at the bright fruits and warm bread that smelled so good. Her hands itched to reach out, but she hesitated. The humans around her were not friendly. Far across the square, a young human named Relo noticed her. Relo was not rich or powerful, but he had a kind heart. He sold small tools and gadgets in a little shop at the edge of the square. His eyes widened when he saw Vera. There was something in her posture, the way she moved with quiet caution, that told him she was in trouble. Relo watched as she approached a small stall, where the vendor was yelling at her to leave. "No trade for you," the man said, waving his hands. "Go back to your ship or your stars or whatever place you came from." Vera's shoulders slumped. Her voice was soft, barely above a whisper. "Please, I just need food." The merchant laughed. "Food? We do not feed shadows." "Go away," Relo's jaw tightened. He stepped out of his shop, holding a small bag of bread and fruit he had set aside for himself. He did not think about the people watching him. He did not care what they would say. He simply walked toward Vera. "Here," he said, holding out the bag. "Take this." Vera froze. She looked at him, unsure what to do. No one had offered her food with such simple kindness in a long time. The humans had laughed, shouted, and shunned her, but this human was different. Thank you," she said softly. Her voice carried a strange melody, almost musical, though it was strained from hunger. Relo smiled. "You need it more than I do." She took the bag, her hands trembling slightly. She peeked inside and saw bread, fruit, and a small piece of meat. Her stomach clenched. She had not eaten in 3 days. She lifted a piece of bread and took a small bite. Her eyes closed as the taste filled her senses. Relo stood nearby, waiting, patient and calm. He did not try to touch her or speak too much. He simply allowed her to eat. Around them, humans continued to stare and whisper. Some muttered that she was strange. Others suggested he should leave her alone. But Relo ignored them. After she had eaten a little, Vera looked at him with gratitude. You are different. Most humans, they do not care." Relo shrugged. "I care. You are not a threat. Everyone else is afraid of what they do not understand." Vera's eyes glimmered. "I do not want to harm anyone. I only seek a place to rest and food to eat." Relo nodded. "Then you are welcome here. Come sit with me. We can talk." Vera hesitated. She had been mocked and avoided her whole life when strangers approached. But something about Relo's calm and steady presence gave her courage. She stepped forward and followed him to a small table near his shop. It was quiet there, away from the main square. As she sat, she looked around nervously. People, they stare. They laugh. "They are afraid of what is different," Relo said. "They do not see who you are. They see what they think you are." Vera nodded slowly. "I am not used to kindness. On my journey, I have only felt fear or hunger or mockery." Relo set more food on the table. "Then eat. Do not worry about them. Let them be. You have survived far more than their words." Vera took a deep breath and began to eat properly this time. She tasted every bite, savoring it. The warmth of food in her stomach brought comfort she had not felt for weeks. Slowly, she began to feel strength returning to her body. As she ate, Rilo watched the crowd. A few people were curious now, looking at Vera with interest rather than fear. Some whispered among themselves. Others continued to laugh, but Rilo paid them no mind. He knew that a single act of kindness could sometimes change the way people thought. Vera finished the meal and leaned back. Her green skin had a faint glow now, her eyes reflecting the life returning to her body. She looked at Rilo. I am grateful. You have done what no one else dared. You have given me food and, more importantly, respect. Rilo smiled. You deserve it. And if you need more, I will help. You are not alone here. For the first time in many days, Vera felt safe. She did not know if she would ever be truly accepted by the humans of Orvax, but she had found one who saw her for who she was, not what she looked like. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the square. Vera finished her meal and looked at Rilo. I should find a place to rest, she said. You can stay nearby, Rilo offered. There is a small inn just beyond the square. I can help you get there. Vera hesitated, then nodded. She had little choice but to trust him. Together they stepped out into the busy streets, moving carefully among the crowd. People continued to stare, but this time Vera felt a spark of hope. One human had seen her worth, and that small spark was enough to light her way forward. As they walked, Rilo asked, Tell me, where do you come from? How did you arrive here? Vera looked up at him. Her eyes reflected the fading sunlight. I come from a world that is dying. My people have traveled for generations searching for a home. We hoped to find safety among the stars, but many places rejected us. I traveled alone to this planet, hoping for food, shelter, and perhaps friendship. Rilo nodded thoughtfully. Then you are welcome here. Let them laugh. Let them mock. They do not see what you bring with you. You are more than they know. Vera's lips curved into a faint smile. Thank you, Rilo. You are the first human who has shown me this. They reached the inn, a small building with glowing signs and warm lights. Rilo helped Vera inside and arranged a room for her. The innkeeper was hesitant at first, but when he saw Rilo's calm presence, he allowed her to stay. Vera closed the door behind her and sat on the bed. She looked around at the small, simple room and felt relief. For the first time in days, she did not feel hunted or mocked. She was alive, fed, and safe. Outside, the city of Orvax continued its busy life, unaware of the quiet change that had begun. One act of kindness, one human who saw an alien's worth had set a ripple in motion. Vera's journey was far from over, but for the first time, she felt that the universe might not be as hostile as she had thought. And somewhere deep in her heart, she knew that this human Rilo had given her something far greater than food. He had given her trust, hope, and the courage to continue. The morning sun rose over Orvax, spilling light across the bustling spaceport. Markets opened, ships arrived and departed, and travelers hurried along the streets. Vera walked beside Rilo, her posture steady, yet her eyes remained alert. The city felt different than yesterday. People watched her more closely, some with curiosity, others with suspicion. The whispers followed her like shadows, but she had learned to ignore them. Rilo led her toward a workshop on the far edge of the square. It was quieter there, away from the busiest streets. Machines and devices lined the walls, some humming softly, others silent and waiting to be repaired. Vera moved among them with ease, her long fingers tracing circuits and gears. Every touch was careful, every adjustment precise. You have a gift, Rilo said. I have never seen someone work like this. Vera nodded. In my world, knowledge is survival. We adapt, we learn, we create. I have practiced for many cycles. They were so focused on their work that they did not notice the group gathering outside the workshop. A small crowd had formed, a mix of curious humans and those who still feared what they did not understand. Among them, a few were not friendly. One man stepped forward, pushing through the crowd. His name was Dran, a local merchant known for his loud voice and quick temper. What is this? Dran shouted. Why is an alien woman here? She does not belong. The crowd murmured in agreement, their fear and prejudice surfacing. Some pointed at Vera, calling her strange names. Vera froze but did not retreat. She had faced fear and mockery before. Now she stood with purpose. I mean no harm, she said calmly. I am here to work and to learn. That is all, Dran laughed harshly. Learn from humans? You will fail, or worse, cause trouble. Leave now before things get worse. Rilo stepped forward, placing himself between Vera and the crowd. She will not leave. She is not a threat. If you have a problem, speak reasonably or leave, Dran sneered. You will regret defending her, human. This alien does not belong here. She will bring danger. Vera's eyes glowed faintly. She had faced hostility on other worlds, but she knew she could not fight unnecessarily. Her strength was formidable, but she did not wish to hurt anyone. She needed another way. I do not wish to fight, she said. I only want to show my skill and knowledge. If you watch, you will see that I am useful, not dangerous. Some in the crowd laughed, mocking her confidence. Others remained silent, unsure what to believe. The tension rose, and for a moment it seemed the situation might explode. Then Rilo spoke calmly, his voice steady. Let her work. If she is skilled, you will see. If she is not, then judge by her actions, not by fear. Vera nodded and approached a broken transport drone leaning against the workshop wall. The machine had been out of service for weeks. Its circuits were fried, and no human technician had managed to repair it. Vera's green hands hovered over the device. Her eyes glowed as she examined the circuits and wires. Slowly, she began to adjust connections, reconnecting delicate components in a precise pattern. The crowd leaned closer. Some were skeptical, expecting failure. But as Vera worked, the drone began to hum softly. A light blinked on its control panel. Slowly, the drone's engines activated. With careful steps, it lifted into the air, spinning smoothly above the workshop. A hush fell over the crowd. Dran's sneer faltered. He stepped closer, examining the drone. How did she do that? He muttered under his breath. Rilo smiled slightly. She understands machines in ways humans cannot. That is her gift. Vera carefully landed the drone and adjusted it further, making it fully operational. She turned to the crowd, her voice calm but firm. I have no desire to harm you. I only wish to work, to learn, and to share knowledge. You can choose to see me as strange, or you can choose to see me as capable. A few people in the crowd began to nod. They realized that their fear had blinded them. Vera had not only repaired the drone, but done so in a way no human could replicate. The whispers changed from ridicule to admiration. Dran, however, was not ready to yield. He stepped forward, pointing at Vera. You may have fixed a machine, but you are still an alien. You do not belong in our city. Leave now, or there will be consequences. Vera's eyes glowed brighter, and she took a small step forward. Her posture was firm, her voice clear. I do not wish to fight, but I will defend myself if threatened. You can choose peace, or you can choose conflict. The choice is yours. Dran hesitated, sensing her strength. His bravado faltered as he realized that she was not to be underestimated. Slowly, he took a step back, muttering under his breath. The crowd shifted uneasily. Rilo placed a hand on Vera's shoulder. You have done well, he said quietly. Your actions spoke louder than words. Vera nodded, her heart still racing. She had faced hostility, but she had done so without anger or harm. She had shown that her knowledge and skill were valuable, not dangerous. As the day continued, Vera and Rilo worked on several other devices. Each time, the humans who had mocked her began to watch silently, some even offering small nods of approval. Slowly, prejudice gave way to curiosity, and curiosity led to respect. By evening, the city square felt different. The whispers had faded, replaced by quiet admiration. Children who had pointed and laughed earlier now stared with fascination. Adults who had doubted her abilities now considered that she might bring value to their community. Rilo led Vera to a quiet rooftop overlooking the city as the sun set. The sky was painted in shades of red, orange, and purple. Ships flew across the horizon, leaving trails of light behind them. You have done well today, Rilo said. You faced fear, mockery, and hostility. Yet you remained calm and showed your worth. Vera smiled faintly. It was not easy. I have faced hostility before, but your presence gave me courage. Without you, I might have faltered. Rilo shook his head. You did this on your own. I only supported you. You have strength, skill, and wisdom. That is what people see now. Vera looked out at the city lights twinkling as night fell. Somewhere below, humans and aliens walked together. Unaware of the change that had quietly begun, she realized that trust and respect could grow even in the most difficult circumstances. She whispered softly, almost to herself. Perhaps not all humans are like those who mocked me. Perhaps here I can belong. Rilo placed a hand on her shoulder. You already belong here, Vera. You just have to let them see it, Vera nodded. She had survived hunger, mockery, and fear. Now she faced skepticism and doubt, but she was ready. The first challenge had tested her courage and skill. and she had passed. Tomorrow would bring new obstacles, but she no longer felt alone. Rilo had shown her that one person's kindness could change everything. And Vera knew that she would continue to prove herself, not just for survival, but to show the humans of Orvax that aliens like her were capable, valuable, and deserving of respect. As night settled over the city, Vera and Rilo watched the stars above. Each light represented a world, a possibility, and perhaps a friend. The first challenge had ended, but the journey was only beginning. Vera had faced fear and mockery and had come through stronger. And now she was ready to face the next step of her journey with courage, wisdom, and determination. The morning sun rose over the spaceport of Orvax, casting its golden light over the bustling streets and tall metal towers. Vera awoke in the small inn room Rilo had arranged for her. She stretched her arms carefully, feeling stronger after the food and rest of the previous day. Her glowing green skin seemed brighter, and her eyes reflected renewed energy. She had survived the journey here, and now for the first time in weeks she felt hope. Rilo arrived at the inn with a basket of fresh fruits and water. He knocked gently on the door. "Vera, breakfast is ready," he said with a warm smile. Vera opened the door and accepted the basket. She had never seen such simple care from a human before. "Thank you, Rilo, you do not need to do this," she said softly. "I want to," he replied. "It is important to start the day with strength." Vera nodded, setting the basket on the small table. She began to eat, and Rilo watched quietly, letting her have the space she needed. Around them, the streets outside were already filled with noise and activity. Traders shouted prices, merchants arranged their goods, and travelers hurried to reach their ships. After breakfast, Rilo led Vera back to the central square. He wanted to introduce her to the city in a safe way, helping her navigate the curiosity and prejudice she might face. Vera hesitated at first. The memories of yesterday's mockery were still fresh. "Do not worry," Rilo said. "I will stay with you. You are not alone." They walked through the square slowly. Some humans stopped and stared, whispering among themselves. Others continued their routines, ignoring the alien presence. Vera felt the tension, but Rilo's calm confidence gave her courage. She lifted her head and walked with him, her steps more confident than the day before. They reached a market where traders sold tools, fabrics, and mechanical parts. Vera's eyes widened as she examined the items. Her curiosity was natural. Her people valued knowledge and skill above all else. She reached out to touch a smooth metal device. "Careful," Rilo said gently. "Some things are delicate." Vera nodded and withdrew her hand. She looked around at the humans and their machines. The world was different from hers, but she felt a spark of excitement. Here, knowledge was valued. Here, someone might see her skills. As they walked, a group of local children ran past, laughing and pointing. "It's the alien!" one shouted. Vera flinched slightly, but Rilo stepped forward. "Do not worry," he said firmly. "They do not understand yet. But you are stronger than their words." Vera took a deep breath and followed him. She had to trust him if she wanted to survive and adapt to this world. Rilo brought her to a quiet workshop, tucked away from the main square. He repaired small devices here, and sometimes helped travelers with their tools. Vera looked around in wonder. Machines hummed softly. Wires ran across the walls, and gadgets of all sizes were scattered on tables. "This is amazing," Vera whispered. "Your knowledge is unusual," Rilo smiled. "It comes with time and practice. You seem curious about it." Vera approached a half-repaired device on the table. Her long fingers moved gracefully, touching the metal and wires. There was a faint glow in her eyes as she examined it. She understood the machine in a way humans could not. Within moments, she adjusted a small component and the device began to work perfectly. Rilo stepped back, impressed. You fixed it? That was not easy." Vera nodded. "In my world, we learn to adapt. Every machine, every device has a purpose. You must understand it or it will fail." Rilo's shop assistant, a young human named Neela, watched in awe. "She's amazing," Neela said. "I have never seen anyone fix that so quickly." Vera felt a flicker of pride. She had not been praised for skill in a long time. People had only mocked her for being different. Here she had been useful and respected. Over the next few hours, Rilo and Vera worked together. She learned some of the human tools and devices, and he observed how her alien knowledge solved problems faster than he could imagine. Slowly, he realized that Vera's abilities were more than just unusual. They were extraordinary. As they worked, Vera shared stories of her people. We traveled for many generations, she said. Our world died and we searched for a new home. Many planets rejected us. Hunger and danger followed me. I have seen much suffering. Rilo listened quietly, nodding. Then you have strength. You have survived far more than I can imagine. Vera looked at him. Most humans would not help me. They fear what they do not understand. Rilo shook his head. Some do, I do. You are more than your appearance. You are life, and life deserves respect. The day passed quickly. They repaired devices, shared knowledge, and spoke about their different worlds. Vera felt a connection forming. Rilo was not just kind. He respected her mind and her abilities. But not everyone was happy. As the news of Vera's presence spread, some humans began to murmur. Why is that alien here? One merchant said. She does not belong among us. A small group approached the workshop, sneering. One man said, You should not help her, Rilo. She is dangerous. She might take what is ours. Rilo stood firm. She is not dangerous. She is learning just like anyone else. You judge what you do not understand. The group hesitated. Vera stepped forward. I do not wish harm, she said. Her voice was soft but steady. I only seek knowledge and friendship. Some of the humans were silent, surprised by her words. Her calm confidence challenged their assumptions. Slowly they turned away, leaving her and Rilo in peace. As evening approached, Rilo led Vera to a quiet rooftop overlooking the city. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of red and gold. Ships flew across the horizon, leaving streaks of light behind them. Look, Rilo said. The world is bigger than fear. You can see possibilities everywhere. Vera watched silently. She had seen many worlds in her travels, but something about Orvax felt different. She could feel potential here, not just for survival, but for acceptance and growth. I did not expect this, she said softly. I thought all humans were like the ones who mocked me yesterday. Rilo shook his head. People can surprise you. Some will fear, some will mock, but others will see you. That is enough to start change. Vera's eyes glimmered in the fading light. Change, I wish to be part of that. To show what my people and I can do, Rilo smiled. Then we will start tomorrow. You will help me, and I will help you. Together we can show others the value of trust and skill. That night, Vera slept with hope. For the first time, she felt that she was not merely an outcast, but a being with potential to contribute. Her alien mind and abilities were unique, and here they might be appreciated. The city of Orvax did not yet understand her, but change had begun. One human had seen her value, and through that simple act of kindness, a path was opening. Vera knew the road ahead would be difficult, but she no longer walked it alone. The next day promised new challenges, new knowledge, and the first steps toward breaking barriers between humans and aliens. Vera had survived hunger, fear, and mockery. Now she would face skepticism and doubt, but with Rilo by her side, she felt ready. She looked out at the city lights twinkling as night fell. Somewhere in the streets below, humans and aliens walked unaware of the change that had quietly begun. Vera and Rilo had started something small yet powerful. A single act of trust and kindness could grow into respect, understanding, and perhaps friendship between worlds. Vera whispered to herself, her voice steady and determined. I will not hide. I will show them who I am. And for the first time, she believed that she could. The morning light bathed Orvax in a golden glow. Birds and small drones flitted between the tall buildings, and the hum of machinery filled the streets. Vera stepped out of the inn with Rilo, feeling stronger and more confident than ever. Yesterday's challenge had changed something inside her. She had faced mockery and hostility and emerged respected. Today she wanted to show that her worth went beyond mere survival. Rilo led her to his workshop. Today they would work on a larger project, a transport ship that had been broken for months. The vessel was abandoned near the outer docks, its engines cold and its systems unresponsive. Humans had tried to repair it, but every attempt had failed. Vera's eyes lit up at the sight. This is different, she said softly. The mechanics here are unfamiliar, but I can understand them. Rilo nodded. I trust you. You will need to be careful, but I know your skill can handle it. They entered the ship's hold. Inside, wires hung loose, panels were broken, and sensors blinked weakly. Vera moved carefully, examining the components. Her hands glowed faintly green as she touched the systems, tracing the energy flows. Rilo watched in awe. You are incredible, he said. How do you understand it so quickly? Vera smiled faintly. I study patterns. Machines, energy, life, they all follow rules. Once you see the rules, you can fix what others cannot. Hours passed as Vera worked with precision. Relo handed her tools, adjusted panels, and offered advice, but she knew exactly what to do. Slowly, the ship's systems began to respond. Lights turned on, engines hummed, and the controls became responsive. Outside, a small crowd had gathered. News had spread that Vera was repairing the transport ship. Some humans were skeptical, while others were curious. They whispered among themselves, watching the alien woman work. A young mechanic named Jarrow stepped forward. "I've tried fixing this for weeks," he said. "No one has managed it." "How is she doing this?" Vera did not answer immediately. She continued her work, focused and calm. Each connection she made, each adjustment brought the ship closer to life. Slowly, the crowd realized that her skill was extraordinary. Finally, with a careful touch, Vera activated the engines fully. The ship's systems roared to life, lights glowing bright and sensors stabilizing. A cheer erupted from the crowd. People clapped, some in disbelief, others in admiration. Dran, the merchant who had mocked her earlier, stood silently, his arms crossed. Relo smiled. "See? Actions speak louder than words." Vera stepped back from the controls, her chest rising and falling with exertion. She had done more than repair the ship. She had proven that an alien, once mocked and feared, could contribute more than many humans had imagined. Jarrow approached her cautiously. I apologize for doubting you," he said. "I thought aliens could not understand our machines." "You've proven me wrong," Vera nodded. "Knowledge and skill are not limited by appearance. Anyone willing to learn can achieve understanding." The news of her accomplishment spread quickly. Merchants, travelers, and city officials came to see the ship and the alien who had fixed it. Some offered small gifts, others asked questions about her people and her abilities. Vera answered calmly, her voice steady and patient. Relo watched proudly. Vera's calm and skill had not only repaired a ship, but had begun to change the city's perception of her. The same humans who had mocked her now looked at her with respect. Some were even inspired. After the work was done, Relo and Vera returned to his workshop. She was tired but satisfied. "Today was important," she said. "Not just for the ship, but for trust. People can see that I am not a threat." Relo nodded. "You have proven your worth. But there is more to do. Skills are respected, but kindness and courage are remembered." Vera looked at him thoughtfully. "Kindness. I understand that. You showed me at first. Without your help, I would still be hiding, still afraid." Relo smiled. "Then we continue together. There is much to learn and much to show. The city is ready to see your abilities, but it is not fully ready for your wisdom." Vera's eyes glimmered. "Then we teach them slowly, step by step." The next few days were filled with collaboration. Vera helped repair devices, ships, and systems across the city. She taught Relo and his assistants techniques from her home world. Each lesson brought awe and respect from humans who had once mocked her. In one instance, a food transport vehicle had broken down near the market. Vera examined the vehicle, adjusting the energy flow in a way humans could not. Within minutes, the vehicle roared to life, carrying food safely to the market. The merchants who had ignored her before now called her remarkable, offering gratitude and praise. Vera realized that her skills were more than tools. They were a bridge between her people and the humans of Orvax. Each repaired machine, each solved problem, was a step toward understanding and collaboration. One evening, Relo and Vera walked along a quiet canal that ran through the city. The water reflected the soft lights of buildings and ships. Vera looked thoughtful. "I have never felt such acceptance. On my journeys, I have only known hunger, fear, and rejection." Relo glanced at her. "Acceptance comes from understanding. People fear what they do not understand, but when they see your skill and your heart, they begin to respect you." Vera smiled faintly. "Then I will continue to show them. Not for myself, but for my people. We seek friendship, not conflict. We want to share knowledge, not take it." Relo nodded. "That is why you are special. Not just your skill, but your purpose. You inspire others to see beyond fear." The next morning, city officials arrived at Relo's workshop. They had heard of Vera's abilities and wanted to see her work firsthand. Vera demonstrated repairs on an advanced communication device, adjusting circuits with precision and teaching humans techniques they had never known. The officials were impressed. One of them, a woman named Laura, spoke to the gathering crowd. "This alien woman has shown great skill and wisdom. She proves that cooperation between species can strengthen our city and our world. We welcome her contribution and encourage others to learn from her example. The crowd erupted into applause. Some humans cheered enthusiastically, while others clapped reluctantly but with growing respect. Vera felt a warmth she had never known. She had faced hunger, mockery, and prejudice, yet now she was accepted and admired. Relo stood beside her, proud. "You have done more than repair machines," he said. "You have repaired hearts, changed minds, and shown the value of trust and courage." Vera nodded. "It is only the beginning. There is still much work to do and many minds to open, but together we can achieve it." As night fell over Orvax, Vera looked out over the city from a high balcony. Lights twinkled below and ships glided silently across the sky. She thought of her people still searching for a home and realized that her journey was now about more than survival. It was about building bridges, teaching understanding, and proving that even an alien once mocked and feared could bring hope, knowledge, and cooperation to a new world. Relo joined her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Tomorrow will bring new challenges, but you have shown what you are capable of, and now the city knows it too." Vera smiled, her eyes reflecting the stars above. "I will continue, not for myself but for all who seek understanding. We can show that kindness, skill, and courage can change the world." That night the city of Orvax slept peacefully. Machines hummed in the workshops. Lights glimmered in the streets, and somewhere above, stars watched over the alien woman who had faced hunger, mockery, and fear and emerged not just alive, but respected and admired. Vera closed her eyes, her heart full. She had proven her worth, not through strength or intimidation, but through skill, patience, and courage. She had shown that aliens and humans could work together, that differences could become strengths, and that one act of kindness, one human who had seen her value, had changed everything. And in the quiet of the night, Vera whispered softly, "This is only the beginning. Together we will build a future worth living for all." The morning sun rose slowly over Orvax, bathing the city in warm light. Ships glided through the sky, leaving bright trails behind them, and merchants opened their stalls, welcoming travelers and customers alike. Vera stepped out of the inn, feeling stronger and more confident than ever. The city no longer felt hostile. People had begun to see her not as an alien to fear, but as someone with skill, courage, and wisdom. Relo met her outside with a smile. "Today is important," he said. "The council wants to see your work and hear from you." Vera nodded. She had worked hard over the past days, repairing machines, teaching humans, and earning their respect. But this would be her first formal introduction to the city's leaders. She felt a mix of nervousness and determination. The council chambers were located at the highest point of the city, overlooking the bustling streets below. The room was large, filled with humans in formal attire and several officials who had come from neighboring districts. At the front sat Laura, the head council member who had witnessed Vera's previous achievements. "Welcome, Vera," Laura said warmly. "We have heard much about your skill and courage. Today we wish to hear from you directly." Vera bowed slightly. "Thank you for welcoming me. I am honored to speak before the council. I wish to share my knowledge, learn from your people, and help build a stronger city for all who live here." A murmur ran through the council. Some were curious, others skeptical. Dran, the merchant who had once mocked her, sat quietly, arms crossed, still unsure what to think. Vera continued, "I have traveled across many worlds. My people seek knowledge, safety, and understanding. We have faced hunger and fear, but we have also learned the value of trust and cooperation. I have come to Orvax not to demand, not to take, but to share and to contribute." She gestured toward the devices she had repaired in Relo's workshop. "These machines, these systems, are examples of what we can achieve together. Humans and aliens working side by side can solve problems faster, create stronger structures, and build a future where no one is left behind." The council listened attentively. Some members nodded in agreement, impressed by her calm and wisdom. Vera's words were clear, simple, and powerful. She did not demand respect. She earned it through action and reasoning. After her speech, Laura addressed the council. "Vera has proven her worth through skill, courage, and wisdom. She is not a threat but an ally. I recommend we formally welcome her contributions and encourage collaboration between humans and her people." Applause filled the chamber. Even Dran hesitated before nodding slowly. He realized that his earlier prejudice had blinded him. Vera's abilities, patience, and integrity were undeniable. Outside the council chambers, the city buzzed with excitement. News of Vera's acceptance spread quickly. Children pointed at her with curiosity, adults whispered in admiration, and merchants who had ignored her now offered smiles and small gestures of respect. Rilo walked beside her as they left the chambers. "You did it," he said. They listened. "They understand now." Vera smiled faintly. "It was not easy. They still have fear in their hearts. But change begins with a single step. Today we took one together." The following days were filled with collaboration. Vera taught humans techniques from her home world, improving energy systems, transportation, and communication networks. Rilo assisted her, learning quickly and applying her knowledge. Together they became a team that inspired the city. One day a transport fleet arrived from a nearby planet. Its engines had failed, and the humans there had no way to repair it. Vera examined the ships calmly, adjusting the energy flows and repairing the damaged systems. Within hours, the fleet was operational again. The visitors looked at her in awe, realizing that an alien they had feared could solve problems beyond their understanding. Rilo stood nearby, quietly proud. "Your work does more than repair machines," he said. "It changes hearts and minds. People begin to trust and respect when they see what is possible." Vera nodded. "Trust is fragile. Respect must be earned. But if we work together, humans and aliens can create a world stronger than either could achieve alone." As evening fell, Vera and Rilo walked along a quiet street lined with glowing lanterns. The city felt alive yet peaceful. Vera observed humans and aliens sharing food, repairing machines together, and laughing. She realized that her journey had achieved something far greater than survival. It had built understanding and friendship. "Look at them," Rilo said softly. "This is what we started: cooperation, respect, hope." Vera smiled. "It feels right. For the first time, I am not afraid of being myself. Here, I can use my knowledge and skill to help, not just survive." That night, the city held a festival to honor the collaboration between humans and the alien woman who had changed so much. Lanterns floated into the sky, and music filled the streets. Humans and aliens shared stories, food, and laughter. Children played together, learning to see differences as strengths, not weaknesses. Vera stood beside Rilo, watching the celebration. She felt a warmth in her heart, knowing that she had found a place where she belonged. Her journey had been long and difficult, but it had led to understanding and acceptance. Laura approached them, smiling. "Vera, your presence has inspired more than we can measure. You have shown that courage, kindness, and skill are stronger than fear and prejudice. We are grateful for your contribution." Vera bowed slightly. "I am grateful for your trust and acceptance. Together we can continue to build a better future." Even Dran, who had mocked her from the beginning, approached with a small nod. "I was wrong," he admitted quietly. "You have shown me what is possible when we look beyond fear." Vera's eyes glimmered. "It is never too late to change. Understanding can grow in anyone willing to see." As the festival continued, Vera and Rilo walked to the edge of the city, overlooking the stars above. Ships flew across the sky, carrying travelers to distant worlds. Vera felt a sense of peace. Her people, though still searching for a home, had hope in her journey. And humans, once afraid, had begun to see the value of cooperation. Rilo placed a hand on her shoulder. "This is just the beginning. The city has accepted you, but your work and friendship will continue to inspire others. You have made a difference, Vera." Vera smiled, feeling the weight of her journey and the promise of the future. "I will continue. Not for myself alone, but for all who seek understanding. Humans, aliens, anyone willing to learn. Together we can create a world where differences are strengths, not barriers." The city of Orvax settled into the night. Lights shimmered across the streets. Machines hummed softly and laughter echoed from the festival. Somewhere above, stars shone brightly, reflecting on the water and the hearts of those below. Vera stood quietly, absorbing the moment. She had faced hunger, mockery, and fear. She had proven her worth through skill, courage, and patience. And now she had found acceptance, friendship, and a place where she could thrive. Rilo looked at her and smiled. "The journey was never easy. But look at what you have achieved. You are not just an alien. You are a teacher, a friend, and a beacon of hope." Vera nodded. "And it is because of one simple act of kindness. You invited me to your table, Relo. That small gesture began everything. He smiled quietly. Sometimes all it takes is one act of trust to change the world. Vera looked at the stars, her heart full. She had survived the trials of hunger, fear, and mockery. She had proven her skill and gained respect. But more importantly, she had built bridges of understanding between worlds. And in that moment, Vera knew her journey was not just about survival. It was about hope, friendship, and the power of kindness and courage to transform hearts. The alien woman who had once been hungry and mocked now stood among friends, respected and admired. Her story would be told across the city, inspiring others to see beyond fear and embrace cooperation. Skill and compassion, Vera whispered softly, a promise to herself and to all who would listen. We are stronger together, and together we will create a future worth living for all. The night sky shone bright above Orvax, full of possibility. Vera smiled, knowing that the journey of one alien and one human had begun a new era of understanding, friendship, and hope for the entire world.